So you've noticed that your face is a little rounder, you're wanting a more defined jawline, less of a double chin, and to look and to feel more attractive. Now losing face fat will definitely do you a massive favor. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, I lost a lot of face fat, which has led to a slightly more angular and less round face. But exactly how did I do this? What foods did I eat? What exercise did I do? What are the tips and tricks that you're not doing right now? I'm going to reveal exactly what I did in order of importance and what you shouldn't do so that you can lose face fat and look and feel more attractive. Now, the only way in which you're going to lose face fat is through a calorie deficit. Your calorie input needs to be less than output, and being in a calorie deficit means you're burning energy from stored energy in your body, which we want to be from fat, especially from fat in your face. Now, we can get into a calorie deficit most easily by eating less, or we can increase energy expenditure. However, the first thing you need to do is figure out your calorie deficit, and the best way to do this is using Precision Nutrition's online tool. This is a great tool because it takes into account the adaptive nature of metabolism and gives more accurate information on how hard you'll have to work and how long it may take to reach your goals. It's completely free and will even provide menu ideas that will help you figure out what and how much you should be eating. Prioritize protein. In your mission to achieving a more defined face, eating protein has to be your priority. It will help you to build muscle, which will speed up your metabolism. You want this to be the case when trying to lose fat from your face. Protein helps you feel full faster and delay hunger between meals, and it also has a higher thermic effect than other macronutrients, which means we burn off more of its calories during digestion. So eat a substantial portion of lean protein at every meal and you will almost certainly eat fewer total calories. Now, according to Stuart Phillips, professor at McMaster and one of the top 1% of all cited researchers in physiology and nutrition, for most of us, not more than 1.6 grams per kilogram of body mass is enough. The PN calculator you just used tells you how much protein you need to eat. So go and figure out your favorite sources of protein, put them into a weekly menu and eat them at each meal. Start walking more. Your calorie expenditure is comprised of the following: basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy expended just to keep you alive. So that's the amount that you would expend whilst in a coma. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, the amount of calories you burn just moving around, fidgeting, walking. And thermic effect of food, TEF, the amount of energy used in digesting food. And finally, we have exercise, and this includes gym sessions, playing sport, etc. Now, the ones that you can influence are the last three, and NEAT is the one that will give you the most bang for your buck. It's also the most sustainable as its barrier to entry is low, and the easiest way to implement NEAT is just to get more steps in. As this study shows, participants lost 6 kilograms in 12 weeks from being in a calorie deficit and walking. We do need to make sure that when we lose weight, it all comes from fat, which will include face fat. So the next step is super important: resistance training. Now, resistance training is most effective at preventing muscle loss. While any exercise may be helpful, for best results, the clear choice is lifting weights, which makes sense. Strength training is the single most powerful stimulus for muscle growth. Now, you need to prioritize compound movements, and the best ones are squats, deadlifts, bench press, or push-ups, pull-ups or rows, as they stimulate the biggest muscles in the body. Now, you need to focus on good technique, and you need to progressively overload the exercises by adding more weight, reps or sets week on week. If you do this, any weight loss will be from fat and will help you to improve your facial definition. As a bonus, here's what you don't need to do. Keto. Whilst it helps utilize fat as a fuel source, it doesn't have any special fat loss capabilities. You'll lose fat simply by getting into a calorie deficit, and this is how all diets work. HIIT. As a calorie expenditure tool, exercise isn't actually that great, and over the long term, HIIT isn't any better for fat loss than any other form of exercise. It's also not sustainable as it's neurologically demanding due to being so intense. Lots of cardio. As just mentioned, exercise for the sake of burning calories isn't great. You can influence a maximum of 30% of your calorie expenditure through exercise, and that's if you're a highly active person or athlete. Otherwise, it's between 0 to 15%. Focus on eating less. It's way more time efficient, and also focusing your efforts on cardio may mean that you lose muscle mass, which we do not want. Finally, special facial exercises. They do not work. Follow these tips and you'll be well on your way to a slimmer, more angular and attractive face.